Hello everyone, here's our project for today. This looks like perhaps just a fiberglass tank, and that's exactly what it is. But kind of interesting, it's got some pipes hanging out of it, and if we look at the inside of it, it's empty, clean. It's got a seam in the center and some holes at the bottom. What this is a solar tank. It's a fiberglass solar tank. It's got a small leak in it someplace, probably around that inner seam. It had silicon sealant in it that had broken away from the side. And after about 30 years, it looks like it needs a fresh seal in it. So what we're going to do is use the roofing cement, the EPDM. In this case, it's just the liquid rubber that we're going to use. We're going to start out with a little Rubex with it, a Rubex caulk to seal that inner seam. And then once that's dry, we're going to go and move on to actually sealing it with the liquid rubber. So that's our project. Here we go. We're going to start out with the Rubex caulk, and also I've got some disposable gloves, a little bit of paper towel, some newspaper, things that I'm going to need, I think, for a little cleanup. And what we did to prepare this is we removed all the silicone caulk, pressure washed the inside of it, dried it out, and then I used some rubbing alcohol, 91%, along with a rag and a trowel knife, and just cleaned out the seam. And what I'm going to do then is climb on inside, and I'm going to go and seal the seam with the Rubex caulk. Then we're going to go and let it sit for overnight, check it to see that it's been cured. And if it has, then we're going to begin the next phase, which is adding the liquid rubber to the overall casing. But I'm probably going to give the sealant a good day to 2 days to cure before I go on to the next phase of it. So we took about a 2.5 of the 3 tubes of Rubex, and we sealed the seam all the way around, and filled deep within the crack as much as possible. Also, where the steel reinforcement rods were through, we went and sealed around those. Before I had put any sealant in there, I had also run compressed air through the crack just to remove any kind of other debris, and then another round of alcohol, rubbing alcohol around it, just to make sure there was no oil or anything else in there. So it was completely clean inside there. And then using the Rubex, there were some spots in the seams that were maybe a ½ inch, but then they tapered down. And we just kept, working the sealant in, getting it as deep as possible into the crack. And then just did a quick little smooth over on it to make it easier when we get to rolling the liquid rubber across it all. So that's the Rubex application. And we just used a regular caulk gun for it, nothing special. I've laid down just a towel before I climb up the ladder and go into the tank. And in the tank, you'll see that we've got the Rubex seal in place. I trimmed up a little bit of the stray pieces so that as it rolls on, it should go rolling on smoothly. And the bucket, we'll remove the bucket when I get to the higher parts of the... Poured it into the paint pan. Why not keep all the mess inside the tank? Because that's exactly where I want all the stuff anyway. And then we're just going to go and start to work it into the roller. And then I'm going to start to put it onto the walls. So, just like painting a house. At least that's my expectation. So we're going to see how that works. A little confined quarters in here, but will do. I've got about, it says between an hour and 3 hours to lay it on. And I'm just going to start with the lower half of the tank. to lay down multiple coats, just keep working it until I'm done with the 2 gallons. And we're just going to go over everything multiple times just to make sure it's all laid out as level as it can be, or even as smoothly as it can be. So, a little sticky, and with the light in here, it's going to get a little warm. The house that I'm in is about 63 degrees in the basement, and I'm sorry, 73 degrees in the basement, and it's springtime. The humidity isn't fairly high, so I expect that this will cure. It says in 7 days for a full cure, but since I might be laying it on a little thicker, I'm going to actually let it go for about 14 days before we add in the other components and put the pump in, and then mount it and actually add water, because it's going to have water in it 24/7. It's laying down, just kind of like the wall, and I'm going to work it in and seal all these little fractures and cracks that you can kind of see coming up in here. But that'll all get filled in, and we're going to have one continuous layer of rubber. You can see here I'm roughly through 1 gallon, and I've got probably a little under 2/3 done, but you'll see in certain spots that it's running, so I'm putting it on plenty thick. I'm putting it on at more of the 40 mil level, and what we're going to do is add the other gallon, and I'm going to just kind of go in smooth and let it run. That means I'm probably going to have to give it a little bit more curing time, maybe 3 weeks instead of just 2, even though one is 1 at 20, but want to make sure that we've got it good and dry. But as you can see, it's going on. I'm putting it on heavy, and even with that, because it's a smooth surface, it's covering quite a bit of space, quite a bit of area. So I'm going to just finish this up, and then we'll see it when it's everything on the inside is all coated, and it's got enough runs on it. I'm at the 40 mil in many places, so I'm not going to try to get that last quart on here. My calculations might have been a little bit generous because I wanted to make sure there was some slop in the numbers, so 72 square feet was probably a bit high. It might have been just a little bit below that, but when you're spreading at 45 square feet for the bucket at 20 mil, that'd be like a bucket and a half, and I'm over that, so I'm on plenty heavy. Don't want to get it any heavier, or it'll be a year before I'm able to use it. So that's the project. I'm going to let it cure for a few weeks now, and when it's dry, then I'm going to start to assemble the rest of the solar system. I've got new gaskets. There's some of the old heat exchangers. I don't know if I'll use those or not, but we'll see.